All right, what's up guys? I'm back with another video right here. You see the Bel Air is looking really clean. It's looking really nice. But in this little rattle can paint job, there's a lot of imperfections. So today, I'm going to be giving it another rattle can paint job, but hopefully it looks a lot better. So see there's a lot of little swirls and stuff from the sander. All that stuff is in there. A lot of little imperfections everywhere. Some of the doors, they're like, it was painted so long ago with no clear or nothing, that they're like almost a different shade. Like this one looks different than the rest of the panels. It's all like because all the primer and stuff is stuck in there, and I never wet sanded this thing or anything. So that is my plan for today, to go over a lot of these imperfections and spots like that. Had a couple little paint run marks right here that I've already kind of started messing with a little bit. And trunk looks really ashy. There's a lot of little chips and stuff from me doing all the other work I was doing. So yeah, that's the plan for today, man. So since y'all last seen it though, I put on my last Classic Patina's decal. I really do need to make some more. If you guys want any, please let me know. I've been selling them for a while, but I haven't really been advertising them like that for a while. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give me another batch, maybe the same design, maybe even a new design, and yeah, get those made. And also, since you've last seen it, I also got some custom gel caps for the wire wheels. I think these came out perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for, something like that. Me and the guy was going back and forth about like the design that I wanted, and I think it couldn't have came out any better. So I really like the way that looked. But enough talking, let's just get started on getting this thing all sanded down on certain spots and trying to get this paint looking better. All right, so I'm just sanding down parts that I know that needs work. And I always knew this little piece was here. I didn't realize it was kind of this bad. Somebody also put filler in here as well, because you know this car was just filled with it. So what I'm about to do is take this wheel off right here and cut this piece out and just weld a new piece in. There's also another rust hole in here. You can kind of see it right there. So yeah, I gotta do that too. Might as well take care of all the rust. If I want this car to be 100% rust free, I gotta do all the little stuff like that. All the big work is done. All the big stuff is done. So now there's just little spots like that that I don't notice, that, you know, can eventually turn into what we had basically, that you have to take care of now. So yeah, let me take this wheel off and get started on that stuff. You know what, before I do this, I should probably take the back seat out so it don't catch on fire from the backside or some crazy stuff. So yeah, let me go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm cutting this stuff out right now. Just look at this chunk of Bondo that came out. You know, a lot of little stuff like that. That's why I'm like, all right, I did everything else right, so why not finish it off right? Don't cut corners, especially towards the end, because that will come back in a couple years to bite me in the ass. So I'm gonna cut this out, make a little panel for it, weld that up, clean that up, probably weld a patch over it, clean it up real good and weld a patch over it, just call it a day. But yeah, let's continue. I'm actually kind of pissed right now. So I am seems like way in over my head, right? You see all of this right here, all of that right there, right? You mess with this whole thing, it's like some weird foam somebody put it cardboard. This is fucking cardboard. Oh my god, dude. And this card was sent to somebody and they did this, because I sent it to the guy, because he did my rocker panels on both sides, he did my my roof, all of that. And this is what he do. It's fucking ridiculous. I can't believe it. This is extremely annoying. Alright, so right, 2 years ago I sent my car off to go get the roof, the rocker panels, and part of the floor done by the guy that did it. Now I know this car hasn't been touched within the last 30 years except for only me, especially rust work wise, because this car was rusty and I know it was rusty. But I sent him to go do this work and he cardboard and seam seal this part up. Didn't even care about the rest of it, right? And that was before I even started welding. This is why I sent him the car, because I did not know how to weld at the time. I am an amateur welder and I can deal with this in probably like one full day. He had my car for like 7 months. Dude, you cannot trust everybody. I'm actually pretty upset about this. His name, I might expose him, bro. His name is Lance McIntosh up in Washington. Do not trust that guy. And it's funny because I've heard many other people say that, but it was already too late. I already got my car back from him afterwards. He told me this was gonna be a 2-month job to do this, and it ended up taking him like 8. So you cannot trust everybody around here, dude. Anyways, I guess let me just go ahead and finish this shit up. I gotta see what else is pretty bad under here. I gotta start grinding all this stuff off and just to see. So I'll be back in a second, y'all. All right, here's an update on this giant hunk of dookie. All right, so I welded all. Please do not look at that bottom weld. Do not worry about that one. I swear that part was pretty difficult. Yeah, don't worry about this. But all these other welds, they look really good. This one honestly was my best one right here. I did just throw some seam sealer on some of these spots just to make sure that they were all sealed. I know I did a decent job welding it, but you know. Also, it turns out there's a lot of rust back here. It's kind of hard to get to it, so I kind of tacked it on and then just threw some seam sealer on it as well. Took care of that hole. I just did this little patch. Don't look bad. And there's a lot of those little tiny pinholes up here, so I end up just throwing seam sealer up there. Honestly, I'm not too worried about all those, as long as, you know, they don't get worse. That's why I threw some seam sealer in there. Yeah, I don't think it looks terrible. Still have to do all this. I cut out all the rust that was in there right there. So now it's just time for me to you know, start repairing this stuff right here. Now that all of this is done, this took a lot, and I know it don't look good, trust me, I know. But as long as it's sealed up, welded properly, I'm happy. This one I end up having to throw some like little rod in there. That's why it looks all messy, because I had to weld it multiple times. But yeah, so now I have to start on, oh my god, now I have to start on all of this. I just cleaned up the edges of it, so now it's time for me to start trying to make these panels. This is gonna be a little bit of a weird patch panel. It's not the end of the world. I think I can handle it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So, fun fact, these corners right here, they got a lot of lead, a lot of lead that I didn't know about until I was trying to figure it out. But I know it looks super ugly right now. Don't worry about none of that, because you will never see this, I promise. Anyway, yeah, these corners turns out to have a lot of lead, and I started grinding like right in here, started going deep just to get to regular metal so I can actually weld on something, and like I just kind of kept going, and it's still way down here, and I'm assuming it goes all the way down, so I'm not about to test it. But yeah, little fact, if you got some rust down there, you're gonna have to get a lot of that lead out right there, which sucks a lot, but you live and learn. It is very hard to contour to this curve, so I use this flat piece of metal. I'm gonna tack it all the way in, cut the bottom so I can start getting this curve in here, and yeah, start trying to figure out how to contour it into there. You see there's a slight little gap. From here to here is a completely different angle. All right, this is a one angle by itself, which, you know, I have no idea that these were two different angles, so that's what's making this so much harder, because I only have flat steel. So trying to figure that out as I go, but we will see. Here it is so far. This is kind of a, I'm not saying a rough draft, but kind of a rough draft. I'm not worried about all this, don't worry, I'm gonna finish welding this in, but I really just wanted to make sure this curvature is good right here. Believe it or not, this is just a flat plate of the metal. I welded in this part, and I kind of pushed it in right here to kind of match the curve that it needs to line up even. And regardless, there's gonna be a little spot of Bondo right in here. I mean, they had from the factory lead right here. I'm just throw a little bit of fiberglass Bondo right here and get this part figured out. But I mean, it's actually coming out pretty decent. Like I said, it's super ugly right now, but I know how to make this look good, and I'm not worried about it. My priority for this whole car was to fix all the rust and use the least amount of Bondo as possible. I mean, there's very few, there's just skim layers, you know, that's like a hair thick on this car. Like you wouldn't even notice. There's just a little bit right here, a little skim somewhere in here. This body line has a little bit, and somewhere in here it goes down. That's a whole body panel that I cut out and did myself. So for something like this, I'm not worried at all. And this is by no means a show car, but it is a quality daily driver. And I haven't went to get the body panels aligned or nothing like that yet, but all that stuff will come soon. I'm not worried about that. This body line straight as an arrow, you know. Yeah, so little stuff like this shouldn't be a challenge. It was just kind of weird because of the curvature, but that's it. So here's how she's looking right now. It's coming along really nice, really nice. I'm not mad about this at all. Now this spot will have the most Bondo or fiberglass in one spot on this vehicle in total. All the other spots is completely filled with metal, but I'm not mad about it because this spot is originally filled with lead. So I'm just using another body filler because it's kind of hard to make this flat metal contour to the curve like that. But I mean, I think I did pretty well just for what I'm using right now, a grinder and a flux core welder. So at the moment, really all I'm trying to do now, let the light adjust, is try to finish this part up, and yeah, get that part out the way, and I should be done with this. Man, look at this. It actually came out pretty decent. And none of that you're gonna notice. You're only gonna notice that spot. You're not even gonna notice that. But like, yeah, it looks pretty good. Really good under here. It didn't take me that long to do it either. The only open spot right now that I am aware of, right there. And I'm probably gonna throw a little piece of metal in there just to make sure this is all good, and then I'm gonna seam seal the whole thing. So yeah, I think it's coming out pretty good. All right, so here she is, all done. Still a lot of patches right here, I'm not gonna lie, but got rid of all that rust. I don't even know if I should grind this stuff down. I just might anyway, just because. But yeah, now it's time to seam seal this whole thing, and after that, just throw some like bed liner or something on it just to get it, you know, completely good. There's that one little tiny rust hole right there. Not even worried about that. I'm gonna seam seal over that so nothing else gets in there, no moisture. So yeah, whole thing is good now.
Several days later.
Alright, so here we are with the progress right now. As you see, it's looking pretty good. Most of that Bondo is already off. What I am gonna do, actually gonna have to add another layer about right in here, smooth this out real good, and to conform that into this little body line right here. So it just needs a little bit more right there, and I also feel like maybe a tad bit more right here. So once I do that though, it should be perfect. All right, so after some sanding and some primer, this is what we got. Look at that, man. I'm actually pretty impressed with my skills at this point. And mind you, this is all with a cheap Harbor Freight sander, a flux core welder, and yeah, just some 0.030 wire and some 18 gauge metal. And this is what we got. This should last at least 30 years, you know? I'm actually pretty happy about this. It contours to the body line really good. Perfect. I just got like a tad bit, maybe right there, like at the top. But man, this looks good. This looks really good. Really impressed. Also, let me show you guys. If you look, I got the new gearbox in, and I put fluid in there. I got it all in, and everything that I wanted it to do, it do. As in, my last gearbox, it had a really bad dead spot, you know, in the wheel. and that dead spot is gone. This is like the motion I got right here. Seems like a lot, but honestly it's 100 times better than what it was. And so that means that it's just probably just some old worn bushings that's left. But I drove it. When I brake, it don't want to like try to kill me anymore. So that's really good. I'm really happy about all the progress I got done within these last couple days. All right guys, so fast forward another day or so, and I got this thing sprayed with some clear coat on it. And I don't know if you see, it's like really I don't know the word. I honestly don't know the word that I'm looking for, but it's definitely shining. But it's something about it that looks a little off. Some of the spots you can see where I sprayed, I don't think it looks too bad though. I think it's really good. And whenever I actually wet sand this thing, because that's what I'm about to do, I think it's going to turn out way better than what I'm thinking. This side already looks pretty good if you ask me. I don't like how there's one paint run mark right here. It's all little paint runs and stuff. Not a lot, but there's some. Honestly, at this point, it's a rattle can paint job. I'm not even asking that much. I just wanted to shine a little bit, so now it's time to do a little bit of wet sanding. Alright guys, so for the most part, that is the end of this video. Yeah, I didn't really polish it. I did a few spots just to see how it was gonna come out like this. I think it came out pretty good. Did burn this spot pretty bad. I had to like restart. But yeah, for the most part, the car is decently shiny right now. I got some clear coat on there. Probably will have to throw more on there. You can see a lot of these streaks. But for the most part, not too worried about it. Like I said, I will put some more clear coat and stuff on there later and have it looking even better. But for now, I think this looks pretty good. So if you guys like it, please like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, there will definitely be a lot more content coming soon with this car, and I'm ready for it. I just drove this thing 45 minutes straight down the freeway at 70 miles an hour. Got all the way up to 90, no problem. Staying cool at 160 degrees. This thing was ice cold and I love it. Absolutely love it. Everything about this car was just perfect. The new gearbox did perfect. Only thing is now that I need to do that'll make this even better, get some sway bars, because this thing has a lot of body roll, if you guys know, and do the disc brake conversion kit in the front. But yeah guys, still got a lot of big plans coming up for this car. But in the meantime, yeah, tell me what you guys want to see. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.